So, what is circle time and how to have a successful one when you have runners and wagglers and children that are totally doing something different? So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of our best circle time and morning meeting strategies. I'm here with kindergarten teacher Jessica Jones, who has over a decade of experience with children from 0 all the way up to 6 years old, and we're going to talk about it. So, let's get right into it. If you are new here, I want to welcome you to the Brown Bear Book Club, where we are all about empowering you with resources for young children. So before we get into our tips and strategies, Jessica, Miss Jones, tell us your favorite children's book. We'd like to do a book of the day every day. So what is your favorite children's book?
I would say I do have a few children's books that are my favorite, but I would have to say today that Love You Forever would be my favorite children's book because it's very engaging. I love the different, language that the author uses, and all the illustrations are so fun. So I would have to pick Love You Forever.
Love You Forever. That will be in our show notes today. Let me know right now in the comments below, what is your favorite children's book? And if you are new here and you are not subscribed or followed the Brown Bear Book Club, if you enjoy getting early childhood tips and tools, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and all the tips and resources will be listed below. But let's go ahead and get right into today's conversation.
Okay.
So Jessica, let me know right now, how would you describe circle time? Like, if you had to define what is circle time in maybe 1 to 2 sentences, what would you say is circle time?
Well, some words that just came to mind it would be like a mood setter almost. It's like the great start of your day. It's kind of set the mood for how the full day will turn out. So you're bringing your students all into one space, and you're trying to help everyone to get on the same page.
I like that. A mood setter. Circle time sets the tone for the day. I like that. I think for me, I would say circle time is an opportunity for the teacher or the parent to connect with the children, as well as for the children to connect with their peers. So I think for me, I agree with you, and I also add, I think it's a time of social emotional connection.
Okay.
So yeah. So speaking of setting the tone of the day, what do you do in circle time or in your morning meeting? Or do you differentiate your circle time in morning meetings? Can you talk about that, and then talk about some things that you like to do?
All right, so I would say I've always called mine morning meeting, but I've recently changed it to circle time. Usually, it depends on the time of year, because at the beginning of the school year, we're focused specifically on expectations, helping them to get in the usual routine of things. So we do a lot of expectations, going over some songs, some exercises. Like, you're going to see that in our daily circle time morning meeting, where we're coming together, we are moving, we're exercising, we're doing something, we're learning, we are doing counting. So there's a lot that goes into that very short period, but at the beginning of the school year is the best time for me to include those expectations, include even some learning things, because they're, just trying to make sure that those things are and the forefront, so students can know it's important that they know the expectations. And even now, right now it is what are we in, March, and so even now we're still going over the expectations at the start of it, so they can know they're holding themselves accountable for the classroom expectations at that time.
That's really good. Bringing up the expectations during circle time. What are some of the expectations that you talk about during circle time?
Right, and so it's a very fun way. So we have the children help me to put hand motions to the expectations. So we're like, I can raise my hand for permission to speak. I can respect myself, others in our school. I could be safe, kind, and honest. So the children are acting out each motion. So they're always really excited to do it. It's like I said, we've been doing it since August, and now it's March, and the students are super excited. I could raise my hand for permission to speak. So it's still engaging. So I'm not just having them rote memory, just kind of robot say it, but they're having fun with it. Nice. And then I also have images on the screen because we have a smart TV, so they're able to see it, and yeah, so
That's really nice.
It's very important.
Wow. I don't know if you guys caught that, but already we're hearing that circle time, you're including movement, expectation, songs. That is just awesome. Let us know right now in the chat below. Do you include music, movement, expectations in your circle time? Yeah, I really like the idea of movement. And music.
Okay.
That is something that I feel like is super important, especially for young children. And so for me, I like to start circle time with a song so they know like we're getting ready to start. And I usually start with like when it's young children, I may do a basic song like the more we get together, and then we'll get together in a circle. And then sometimes I notice here lately I've been using more songs like hello songs, greeting each child. Hello, I don't know, Johnny, hello. And so lots of greeting songs to start off circle time. And expectations are usually right after that. So I really thank you for touching on that.
Yes.
Now, some of the other strategies that I think we got to talk about is what do we do when the children, when we're singing the songs, we're doing the movement, then you have that little runner who's either in, maybe not runner, but maybe he's looking into the toys, or maybe she's just totally disengaged, or perhaps crying in a corner and just doesn't want to be here today. What are some strategies you do during your circle time or morning meeting to help children who just seem disengaged, just doesn't want to be there?
Okay. Well, I would say, yeah, so at the kindergarten level, I don't really have children running around. And then I also, yeah, most students, so they do have that option. So my students do have the option. I'm not going to force you to be here on the carpet with everyone if that's something that you don't want to do. Now, I'm going to acknowledge you. It looks like you want some time to yourself today, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So what I noticed, though, so as they see all the other children, they're engaging. We're doing a hello song. You know, today is Tuesday. My friends are here. And they're looking like, oh, I want to be a part of this. And so slowly, you start seeing them lean in a little bit. They're like, I want to be a part of this. It's time to share our thoughts about the would you rather question. And so I want to make sure that it's something they want to do. I never want to force my students to do something they don't want to do. So I realize they start to come, and I'm like, oh, did you want to be a part of this activity? They're like, I'm like, well, come on into the circle, and you can share now. So yeah. I think that's just kind of naturally allowed the child to make that choice.
That's really good. And basically she's saying don't pay attention to the negative behavior, but focus in on the large group behavior. I would also want to speak to, some of you all may have toddler age children or younger preschool, or just children who are developmentally, maybe they are having a hard time engaging in large group activities. My two strategies for that is, first, keep circle time short. I do not believe circle time should be a long period of time. I think children under the age of 6 should not have to sit for 30 minutes through a large group activity. And I think I think that circle time, and this is just my philosophy, it should be short, sweet, and to the point, engaging, inviting. And so if you have a child that is disengaging, or a student that's not wanting to engage, I'm like you, Jess. I sometimes ignore if they're doing something that is unsafe to somebody, like maybe they're goofing off and they're, I don't know, trying to grab another child. Or I remember one class I had children that wanted to wrestle each other, or they'll just want to laugh and goof off and just do something totally opposite.
Absolutely.
I try to use that as an opportunity to say, hey, I need a helper. Can you help me with blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And so I try to also invite children to more of a class community to try to redirect that behavior. Those are some strategies I've used. I don't know if you've ever had kids goof off in the middle of circle time.
I do. So for those students, they do know the expectations. I can respect myself, others in our school. Right now, we just talked about how we're going to respect ourselves, others in our school. And it seems like that, you need some time to yourself. So students know that maybe if I'm not doing very well in this large group, maybe I could just go to my seat for a moment and just kind of still participate from my seat. So I'm not forcing that child to leave, but I am letting them know these are the expectations, and if it's preventing our other students from focusing and having a safe environment, then you will be removed from that area so that you can just think about, the better choices that you can make, and then maybe you could join again later. So
yes, and a power tip for some of you guys who might I know a lot of preschool classrooms may still have assistants. Back when I was a kid, kindergarten still had assistant teachers, but nowadays they don't.
No.
But I will say, if you're in a classroom where there's another teacher or another assistant, it's all about body zoning. So having one teacher on one side of the class where maybe there's children who are more likely to get into some things, that assistant being able to help with those behaviors while you as the lead teacher can focus on the large group and the assistant teacher help with maybe some of through those behavioral challenges, so all of the children are not having to stop the learning process.
And another thing,
So,
I was like you were saying, but even with proximity, like
yes.
some of my students who I know, okay, I know that you're going to probably want to touch your
Mhm.
classmates, or you're going to
Mhm.
want to say something funny. So
Yes.
what I would do is I'm like, I make sure I sit right next to them.
Yep.
You're on this side, another student can be on that side, and they're so happy Miss Jones is sitting next to
Yes.
me. But yeah, I'm intentional by sitting next to you because I know that you're gonna need a little extra support, and you'll do much better with me by your side. So that is another thing that I do
Yes,
use at times.
proximity.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm all about that.
Mhm.
Staying in proximity. And if you have more than one teacher, there should never be a time where you guys are sitting side by side.
Right.
One teacher should be on one side, the other teacher on the other side, or, you know. So, yes, that is
Mhm.
so good. So, what are some of your favorite things to talk about during circle time?
Okay.
What do you talk about? It's a lot of controversy nowadays with
Okay.
circle time and concerns of, do you do calendar or not? Do you, what do you talk about during circle time? Is this a time to go through the whole alphabet? Is this a time to go through all the numbers?
Mhm.
And talk about it with your experience, because I know you've worked with the younger
Okay.
side of early childhood, and now
Mhm.
you're in kindergarten. So if you could speak to kind of both of those as
Mhm.
to what do you find, what do you do during circle time? I know you talk about music, movement. What
Mhm.
other things do you
Okay,
talk about?
so well, for pre-K level, that's a really great time where me and I would have a assistant teacher. I call it a co-teacher because we're working together, and so one of the teachers would probably be helping the other students like finish breakfast, and the other one is kind of corralling all the students who are finishing breakfast, and we're just doing a song. Like we usually would put on a song. Sometimes I'll just sing a song. We'll do like some hand motions and something that goes along with that, like hello songs.
Yeah.
And then after that, we will kind of introduce what we're doing today for like
Okay.
that main activity. So
Yes.
some type of attention getter. I'll pull something out of the bag and
Yes.
say, and we'll have like a discussion on that. Now at the kindergarten level, like I said, it changes throughout the year. So in the beginning of the school year, yes, we're singing alphabet songs and we're doing sounds and
Yes.
we're counting to 100 each day.
Yes.
We're adding a new number and we're discovering a new number and we're acting it out. So it really does change throughout the year.
Yes.
So now, there's no, I'm not doing any alphabet songs. I'm not doing really many number songs at that particular time. We're focusing in on the children using full sentences. Like we do like a big circle, and we pull out a little paper that says, "Would you rather? Would you rather, eat 5 donuts, or would you rather eat 10 pizzas?" And so they're thinking in their minds like, "Ooh,
Yes.
what am I going to choose?" So I love, and they're using full sentences. They're not going to just say a donut.
Yes.
I'm going to say, let's use full sentences. So that's an opportunity for them to have that speaking and listening time. So we're working on those standards, and they don't even know,
Yes.
that they are working on those standards. And so we do that, and we also do some greetings of each other. There's a song that I really like on YouTube. I can't think of the name right now, but they get to shake each other's neighbor's hands. They get to give a hug, and so they're practicing how to socialize with other children in a positive way.
Yes.
So there's so many things that I do, but I've realized that I have to keep it fresh. So I can't just keep doing the same thing over and over, month after month. I have to switch it up. So I switch like one thing like each month to make sure it's fresh and and new for the children.
Yes, I love everything that you just said, because it kind of goes back to what I believe is the purpose of circle time, which is socialization, teaching children how to speak in full sentences, the language component. And it also gives you an opportunity to build rapport with your students, asking them questions about donuts or things that they like, and then they have to respond in a full sentences. They don't even know they're being assessed, but it's an opportunity for children to practice speaking clearly and speaking. So I love that, and it's a great time to connect with children. I like to call it question of the day. Sometimes I'll have
Oh
a
yeah.
question of
Mhm.
the day. Sometimes I'll write the question on a whiteboard,
Mhm.
or if there's some butcher paper or whatever we're using, and I might just write a question and have the children answer, and I try to write their name beside their response to add in that language and
Yes.
literacy piece,
Mhm.
adding those sentences as they're saying them. So I love everything you just said. That's so good.
Mhm.
So yeah. So let us know right now in the comments below, what are your favorite things to do during circle time? Um, and what are some challenges that you have been experiencing during circle time? Is circle time the time of the day that you look forward to, or is it a time of the day that you dread? And yeah, so let's talk about that in the comments below. And Jessica, is there anything else that you want to add as far as circle time tips or morning meeting tips that you do with your students?
Hmm. I am thinking on that. I do love that you mentioned the question of the day because that's a real simple, easy way. And I did that a lot in pre-K.
Yes.
And also using that as a way to kind of tally, and they're able to count and able to
Mm-hmm.
see which one is more and less than. So I mean, there's so much. It's just you could jam pack
I
morning
know.
meeting with so much learning. And like you said,
Yes.
that connection. Oh my goodness, my students love it. And even knowing that there's similarities between them and their classmates as they're
Mm-hmm.
listening and they're practicing those patient skills. I mean, it's so much
So
that
much.
goes into that 15 minutes that you can
Yes.
do with them. It's just it's a great time. I really enjoy coming straight into the classroom, putting your things away. Let's get to the carpet. Let's get straight to morning meeting so it can
Yes.
set the tone for the day.
Yes.
Let the children know that they are seen. Give them that physical, verbal, all those things that they need at that time. So yes,
Yes.
I wouldn't have my class set up any other way. I would want to make sure that morning meeting or circle time is included. So,
Yes, I agree with you. And a word came to mind as you were speaking. It's like a morning rally. Like
yeah.
it's
Mhm.
pumping it,
Oh yeah.
getting pumped up for a day full of learning.
Yes.
And one of my favorite teachers was my third grade teacher. Her name was Mrs. Rice. Don't know if you're out there, Mrs. Rice. She lives in Georgia at the time.
Okay.
But she always, I don't know if it was every day, but it was always like morning stretches,
Oh
and she would have the
yeah.
music already going. And I really like the idea of circle time and even just the morning to set the tone of the day. And I
Mhm.
do that with my children, not just the students I teach, but my personal children. I like
Mhm.
just turning on the music, setting the atmosphere, and
Oh
I love the
yeah.
fact of circle time being a part of that. Um, and so that is really good. That is so, so good. So, is there anything else? Any other tips? Oh, one more thing I was going to mention that we didn't talk about is the weather. I
Okay.
think in jobs, I don't think that circle time should be all your class jobs should be during circle time,
Mhm.
but maybe some of the fun ones like the weather forecaster can
Mhm.
talk about what's the weather like today, and you can
Mhm.
sing a song. And I think that could be short and sweet, but it can be done during circle time, and it can, just be a great way to squeeze in some science.
Mhm.
Um, and then the only thing I was going to add is speaking of science or any topic that you're doing, sparking children's curiosity, like you said, pulling things out of a
Oh yeah.
bag or pulling things out of a box,
Mhm.
or even reading stories during circle time. You don't have to read the full story, but maybe that's the introduction to a specific topic.
Oh yes.
So I think, yeah.
Mhm. I did have something else to add. Two more
Yeah.
things that came to mind as you were talking. Now we have a share bear. So the
Oh.
share bearer lets you know that that's the person who's talking at that time. So, oh,
Ooh.
so and so has the share bear right now. So you will
Yeah.
get your turn really soon. The share bear is on its way around to you. So that lets the students know they have something physical that they can hold and see as they're sharing. They love it because it's soft. They want to squeeze it.
Yes.
And I also was going to add that it's a time for student leadership, student-led activities.
Yes.
So like during that time, one of my students would flip over the next number because we're going up to 100, and so each day they're flipping it over. Oh, we're so close to 100, Miss Jones. I'm like, I know. Let's count. What do we want to do? We want to stretch, and so, or even having a student lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
We do the pledge every day.
Yes.
So student directing activities, like you were talking about the jobs. So those are some of the jobs that I have in my class, and they know
That's
to be ready to
good.
go.
That's a whole nother
I
episode.
know.
Class jobs. I do the same thing. We do the
Mhm.
pledge, and then I'm a Christian mom and teacher, so we can do the pledge to the
Oh
Bible
yeah, the
and
Christian flag.
prayer. Yes,
Yes.
Yes, you can do all that in the morning. And so yeah, that's great. I'm glad. class jobs, that's a whole nother episode. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see that on this channel, an episode dedicated to some great class jobs or how the functionality of class jobs. But I think that is it for today.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Just kind of reflecting, you know, because I'm often just, you know, doing what's needed.
Yeah.
But it's good to kind of think over it and talk with someone about it. So I appreciate you having me here today.
Yes.
It's free.
Yes. All right. Well, let us know in the comments which tip or strategy did you enjoy hearing today. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening on the podcast, we want to hear from you. And if you enjoy getting early childhood tips, tools, and resources, join the Brown Bear Book Club. I send free resources, and I also send just some wonderful recommendations right to your email box, and I'll make sure that I link all those resources below, and I'll see you guys again another time. Bye guys.